Welcome if this is your first time here, and welcome back if you've been here before. This is chapter 6 of my puzzle story and part 3 of my 2025 Canadian Nationals experience. In parts 1 and 2, I spoke about my new approach to training for the individual competitions at Nationals and the success it led to by me finishing in 7th, which is my highest ever placing at a national competition. In this video, I will be focusing on the preparation that I did for the teams and pairs events at the Canadian Nationals. At the 2025 Canadian Nationals, I entered the pairs and teams events for the first time. In this video, I'll be talking about my decision to enter those events and how I went about doing that. The preparation required for pairs and teams puzzling is very different than what I was used to. It's definitely out of my comfort zone. One of the reasons I like doing puzzles is that for the most part, it is a very solo activity. Once you start adding in a second, third, fourth, whatever person, it's going to really change the dynamic and your approach to puzzling. And I wasn't sure if that was something I was going to enjoy, but I figured now would be the time to test the waters and see. It was a few weeks after the 2024 Canadian Nationals that I thought about maybe entering the pairs events the following year. Teams was in the back of my mind, but that required finding 3 people, and that just wasn't something that I was ready for at that time. But I figured I could find maybe one person that would be willing to form some sort of partnership or at least practice together and see how it goes. I've mentioned in previous videos that prior to the 2024 Canadian Nationals and including the 2024 Nationals, I wasn't very active in the puzzle community. I just went to the competitions, did my events, went home. I didn't really interact with too many people there. Again, just focusing more on the solo aspect, and I was fine with that. It was after the 2024 Nationals that I thought maybe I can take a different approach, reach out to a few more people, but I wasn't really sure where to get started. My puzzle Instagram page hadn't launched yet. That was still a few months away, which is one of the easier ways to connect with local, national, and global puzzlers. But I still had to figure out a way at the time to kind of how do I find someone that's into puzzling and is relatively close to where I live so we can practice and I can see if I actually enjoy paired puzzles. I wasn't sure where to get started, but luckily the Canadian Jigsaw Puzzle Association had a community Facebook page with quite a few people on there, so I figured maybe that's a good place to start, and I posted this comment on there, reaching out to see if anybody else was interested. While I didn't outright state it, I did put my results in there as a way to kind of hint that I was looking for someone of a similar skill level. If I'm going to potentially compete, I want us to have similar competition goals. The priority was pairs. If there was a group out there looking for another person they needed to add into, that would be fine. But I really just wanted to puzzle with one other person and see how that felt. I had a few responses from people that were in the local area, and one of the first people to reach out was Rachel. We decided to meet up in June of 2024 and do some puzzles together. It was probably the first time I had puzzled with somebody else since my grandfather a couple decades earlier, so I really wasn't sure how this was going to go. So I didn't really know what to expect, how we'd work as a pair, how frustrated I might be with someone moving pieces around when I'm used to having full control over where pieces are placed and how they're placed. Would our styles even match? There was no way to know. Overall, I think it went pretty well, but I had nothing to compare it to. We did time ourselves for the puzzles that we did. We compared it to times on websites like speedpuzzling.com. And our times were pretty good. So maybe this was something to consider for Nationals next year, but that is still ages away. We met up again about 6 weeks later. Summers are busy. And did a few more puzzles. Our times were still comparable to other good pairs on speedpuzzling.com. So that was good to see. We looked at our times compared to the world events as well, just to kind of figure out what our baseline was and see if we were working well together. Soon after that, I met up with another puzzler, Alison Elgersma, and we puzzled well together as well. Our times were similar to what I was getting when I was puzzling with Rachel. So this is when I started really considering I can work with different types of people. I can puzzle with different types of people, and yeah, this is probably something I want to participate in at the 2025 Canadian Nationals. At this time, registration for Nationals was still about 5 months away. I didn't really know how to go about picking a partner specifically for Nationals. I wasn't sure if the two people I had been practicing with were going to be interested in entering or forming a partnership of some sort. I don't really like making decisions like that, so I was just going to kind of see how things fell into place. Things usually tend to work out. So while I'm still practicing with partners and getting more experience that way, I randomly received a Facebook message replying to the comment I left a few months before, looking for potential partners or teams. This individual, named Amanda, was looking to form a team for Canadian Nationals. Amanda is also the co-president of the Canadian Jigsaw Puzzle Association, so I figured I would probably respond to that and see if we could maybe form a team, or at least practice as a team, and I could experience what it's like to puzzle with 3 other people, which is something I have absolutely never done or thought I would ever do. Amanda had already reached out to and paired up with Riley Graybrook, the same Riley who would finish in second place at the 2025 Canadian Nationals. So that's a great person to have on a team. Amanda had already had some success with some good results at the previous Canadian Nationals as well. So that seemed good. We just needed a 4th member to fill out the team. At this point in time, I thought it might be a good idea to reach out to one of the pairs people that I was practicing with, so I reached out to Allison to see if she would be willing to join the team as well. Why did I ask Allison instead of Rachel? It was purely because at the time we were discussing this formation of a team, Allison was currently in Spain competing at the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships, and I figured that experience could be very useful. And that's really the main reason. So while we're sorting out all the details with the teams and trying to meet up and figure all that out, I can still continue with my pairs practice, and in October 2024, I entered my first pairs competition with Rachel. It was a smaller, more local competition, maybe about 20 pairs. But the main reason I definitely wanted to do a competition before even considering signing up for Nationals would be to see how we compete with each other. When you're under that pressure, some people do better in a competition setting, and some people might fall apart a bit more. And I'd rather find out at a smaller competition that didn't really mean too much than wait until the big stage and everything goes wrong. So we entered the competition. We both correctly predicted the type of puzzle that it would be. We knew it would be Ravensburger, but we predicted that it was going to be one of the popular Circle of Colors puzzles. We didn't know which one, but in 2023, 2024, those puzzles were super popular, and we figured there's a good chance they will show up. Circle puzzles are not my favorite types of puzzles. The designs look really nice, but in terms of a speed puzzling atmosphere, not my favorite. The good part about them is that you can keep turning the puzzle in a circle, so you can work on different sections. It is a unique aspect. You can't really keep turning a regular rectangular puzzle, but still, it wouldn't be my go-to choice. I'm really hoping that the Circle of Colors phase is done and we can move on to something new and interesting. So anyways, back to the competition. We knew as soon as we sat down at the table that it was going to be a Circle of Colors puzzle because they have a unique box shape, and you could see the shape outline inside of the Ravensburger bag that was hiding the image of the puzzle. So at least we could discuss what our approach is going to be when the puzzle starts. Remember that the competition starts before those bags are opened. You should have game plans. You should be talking with your partner. If you have an inclination that what the puzzle might be or the design might be, go through that, discuss it. Give yourself every advantage you possibly can. And this was also a good way to see that we worked together before the puzzle was even shown to us. We were both on the same page, coming up with strategies and figuring out how to do our best in the event. Like I said, it was a small competition of maybe only 20 total pairs. I don't know the exact position that we finished in. It was 3rd or 4th place. The official results were never posted anywhere. And it was sometimes tough to tell who was still working on it. There was 4 competitions all happening in the same room at one time. So people were other events were also finishing. So it was very hard to keep track of who was done. But it was 3rd or 4th, which for the first time competing together is very good. The first place team as well, they did this exact same puzzle a couple months earlier at the Canadian Nationals, and there could have been other competitors there that had done the puzzle as well. Myself and Rachel had never done this puzzle before, so finishing with at a pretty good time. I don't remember what the time was, but it was high 30s, low 40s minutes. So again, good start, and yeah, things are looking pretty good. Through November, I'm still doing pairs practice with Rachel and Allison, and all of that is still going very well. And then in early December, my team, Riley, Amanda, and Allison, we all met for the first time at a small board game cafe in the middle of where we're all commuting from. And over the next few hours, we did 4 1,000-piece puzzles and 1 500-piece puzzle, and the times all went really well. And with only about 2 months left before registration for Nationals was going to open, right from the beginning, this looked like it was going to be a pretty good team to form, and we might be able to do pretty well at Nationals. And now at this point, I am doing my own individual training and practicing. I'm still practicing with a few partners, and now the team practices are being scheduled in. It was a lot, but practice is absolutely necessary. And the more I practice with partners, new strategies started to form, things we were good at or other people had to compensate for, were all becoming a lot more obvious, so we could come up with strategies. Same with the teams. As we were practicing as a team, we could figure out who's good at what aspect, and again, coming up with different approaches to different puzzles. So all of this is working out, and it's also helping me prepare for my individual training. An example would be if we're doing a teams puzzle and I'm doing a lot of sky practice, and I think I mentioned this in my previous video. I did a lot of sky on 1,000-piece puzzles. So when a sky puzzle shows up, like it did at Nationals with the sky here, there was some advantage that I had because I was doing training with a team. So even pairs and team training can help with individual training. In February of 2025, registration opens for the Canadian Nationals 2025, which would happen a few months later. I registered as a pair with Rachel. Allison had another pair already set to go with Danielle. And so yeah, everything worked out exactly like I thought it would. Great. And as for the team, yep, myself, Allison, Riley, and Amanda formed our team, and now we just had to come up with a name and a logo. From February up until just before the competition in May, myself and Rachel met up at least 8 more times to practice, finishing I think 22 or so puzzles. We entered 2 virtual competitions as well, finishing in 3rd place and 4th place. So things are looking very good for that event. And during that same time period, I met up with my team 4 more times. We did another 20-something puzzles together and really worked on strategies and approaches we could take depending on what puzzles showed up at Nationals. So the practice leading up to Nationals certainly helped me get used to puzzling with other people. Also helped me come up with some good strategies, both for group puzzling as well as individual puzzling. However, would it make a difference at Nationals? You'll have to wait until the next video to find out how it went in the pairs events and the challenges that definitely came up over the course of that weekend. That is it for this video. Click like if you enjoyed listening to me talk again. And make sure to click subscribe and check out all the other content that is being released on this channel. Leave a comment below letting me know how you feel about pairs or teams puzzling. Is it a challenge for you? Is it something you prefer over individual? Who knows? Let me know. Make sure to check out the Speed Puzzling 101 lessons that are posted on this channel. Lesson 1 and 2 are now available. My goal is to release a new lesson every week, especially in the lead up to the World Championships in September. The lessons are under 10 minutes, nice and quick, and provide some support, especially if you are new to speed puzzling. I'm also getting ready to sit down with another guest or two for the next episodes of Puzzled and Chatty. If you have already watched it, go and check out episode 1 of Puzzled and Chatty, where I sat down with Devin Donaldson, one of Canada's top speed puzzlers. So that is it, and until next time, as always, happy puzzling. Bye.